BSP chief Mayawati has renewed her demand for Uttar Pradesh to be divided into 4 states. The clamour for Gorkha land and Vidarbha is also growing. As the political pressure for smaller states grows, we discuss whether or not smaller states are actually good for India. Discuss the same, we have with us in our studios 3 distinguished guests. Please welcome Professor V.B. Singh, a noted political analyst, honorary fellow with the CSDS. Welcome, Professor Singh. Sitting next to him is Amit Sen Gupta, Executive Editor, Hard News. Welcome to Insight, Mr. Sen Gupta. And we are also joined by Sumit Chakrabarti, Senior Journalist, Editor, Mainstream.
And within the larger state, the regions, some of the regions were neglected for one reason or the other. Inaccessibility, distance, political group coming from that area. So this has been actually for quite some time actually on demand. Earlier people used to feel as if the larger state, in Uttar Pradesh, used to see that they are to power, and earlier it used to be kind of prime ministerial race. Since Uttar Pradesh gave earlier prime ministers, so the demand for separation neglected. There was no actually effective demand. But after formation of Haryana in kind of late 60s and early 70s, the things have changed. And the Haryana, which was a kind of very neglected region in Greater Punjab, thereafter actually the formation of Jharkhand and Uttaranchal and Chhattisgarh actually as the statistics. Either these neglected regions which have come up as a kind of state during the last 1 decade or little more, 11-12 years, either they have larger portion or they are doing better.
Okay.
Uttaranchal has done better compared to the larger Uttar Pradesh. Chhattisgarh has rest of the state.
Right.
For Jharkhand, actually, for some reason, should be considered by the people in power, actually. Thinking about the 2-3 parameters, the kind of logistics, accessibility, distance, and special
of sense of self-identity, especially of the peasantry, where almost 3,000 odd villages were liberated and land was redistributed, etc. From 1953 onwards, if you can see 1956, the Central State Reorganization Commission, there has been a continuous kind of a relentless, what can you say, a longing for assertion of mobility and social justice. There is no one model, indeed, of looking either as a development from above, or as a state formation from above, or different movements which are happening in the country. Well, Vidarbha might be having a completely different set of contradictions from Telangana. Well, Telangana has got direct contradictions with coastal, especially the powerful lobbies which took over the main center of Hyderabad. But if you look at the constitution of the Andhra Pradesh, or the Kakatiya University Students Movement, or the Hyderabad Central University Students Movement, well, the late 60s, the movement was there in the Osmania University. These are also Telangana students is not making the move to the kind of a logical rationality. Whereas others, well, in the sense, I don't want to say others, they're also part of that same kind of a paradigm, in the sense they're all Indians. But the others political power, especially from coastal Andhra. They had captured institutions and powers.
Right,
So
right.
even so, in that sense, I would say the syndrome I would support as a small is beautiful concept, because I would support a larger notion of small is beautiful in the sense of a decentralized, democratic, participatory, collective enterprises, which can be best exemplified in a state like Uttarakhand, for instance. But there are many. If you give me when we get into the discussion, maybe I can bring some of the contradictions.
Sure. Deficit and neglect of the region. Mr. Chakrabarti, how do you look at the assertion of similar demands from across the country now?
No, you see, if you discuss, Telangana has to be looked from a different angle. In the sense, as both previous speakers, Mr. Singh mentioned, see, Telangana, the movement, apart from the Telangana movement, in 1955, the Fazal Ali Commission, to project again this issue of Telangana and the delay in the central government announcing this. Who were present there? It's something unique. In post-independence India, I have not come across this kind of thing. On the one hand, you had the on the other hand, you had the CPI-ML New Democracy, extreme left. They were all there. All demand, and after almost 58 years, that is 1955 to 2013.
Unanswered at the
But
moment.
still,
We have to take a
I
break in
think
the program.
it
I'll
is a
just
very
come back to
positive
you
development.
in a break in the program. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Telangana becoming a demands from across the country become more and more intense. We discuss, is there a case for smaller states? That these states seem to be doing well for themselves. In states, whether it's the gross state domestic product or industrial growth or per capita. Yet we had last week's NSSO data that put both Jharkhand and Chhattisgarh in the list of worst performers when it came to human development indices, for instance, poverty levels or even per capita.
The human development data which focus on the kind of health and education things. Think of the unrest, we are actually on the kind of losing side for quite some time, and nobody was there to look after. And somehow actually in Chhattisgarh something reaching out to the people in the area and satisfying their demands and containing the appeal of the movement. But these Naxalites, various kind of health facilities, so those areas are really neglected. That doesn't mean that they have not been able to do on par with. They have done much better during the last 12 years. Had it been the case actually, not separation, been worse, barring few districts.
Right.
Same is the case actually